I know we have talked a great deal about this, and I'm not honestly sure that we can talk about it enough, given that now First Take is also going to Boulder, Colorado to do the show live from Deion Matters, Deion is Famous, Deion U, Deion and Deion's son are here to usher in a revolution, an apocalypse, some of the things that music feels like. Hip-hop is coming over. What's this about? It's loud. It's rebellious. It's different. It's black. It's don't disrespect us by dancing on our emblem. It's every television show is now going there to a program that last year, I will remind you again, one of the worst power conference things I've ever seen. It's not merely futility. I'm talking about I've watched Kansas play football for many, many years before the last couple where they've gotten competent. And what Colorado put on the field, it wasn't just bad. It was historically awful. And in 2 games, we're sending every television truck in the universe to go be closer to Deion so he can get a number as big as Texas, Alabama?
Can I ask a question that I don't want to be received as criticism in any way? Because I think that this is great. I think it's exciting what Deion's doing and all that. But do you think part of it is also like, we need to do this before it's not a thing anymore? Like everyone's like, let's get in on this before
It's never going to not
something.
be a thing. It's a thing forever. Salute to Coach Prime. He done turned the whole organization. We just said it. They did an equal amount of numbers as Alabama last week. That is a mouthful. Pause.
I can't believe what I'm watching here. Through 2 games, there is no circumstance under which you could have told me that this would happen and I would believe you. Deion, after 2 games, is going to have 2 Heisman candidates. He's going to have two Heisman candidates. He's going to have all of the television shows coming and genuflecting at the intersection of where it is that minor league football becomes professional football, and he's going to do better numbers than everyone in the sport. All your Matt Rules and all of these retreads and recycled people that you come to rescue your program because you go with the safe thing that's got a name as opposed to the unsafe thing that has a bigger name.
So he's responsible for this turnaround in 2 different ways. One is material, which is it's not the same roster as last year. He brought his own luggage, and it's Louis. And so it is not the same Colorado team just by personnel. But the other thing is the inspiration of what he does. And I saw this video from All the Smoke this last week. Tyson Chandler was on, and he was talking with Steven Jackson. They were reminiscing about when they played for Charlotte, and Michael Jordan showed up to practice one day, and Steven Jackson and Michael Jordan started getting into it, and Jordan said, all right, I'm going to suit up. And he took the second string, and he beat the starters. And the thing that both Tyson Chandler and Steven Jackson said was, he didn't actually play that well. Jordan didn't. But he pumped confidence in all these guys. They said DJ Augustine played like he was Steph Curry. And I was like, that's the difference. That's the kick. The kick isn't Michael Jordan at 45 or 50 or whatever could lead them. It's that he inspired these guys to play better than they ever played before. And I think that's a lot what's happened with Deion. Different players, yes, but also he's inspiring them on a level that I don't think regular coaches do.
But you're doing one thing, and the football success, we can sit here and talk about and wonder how good the team actually is. It's not what I'm interested in at all. The part that I'm interested in, and the part that legitimately shocks me, even though I understand what this person's past and his fame is, this is the part that is stunning to me. Oh, I've seen this happen before. When Miami and USC won all their games and then the Rappers wanted to be on the sidelines. I've never seen a phenomenon happen in 2 games. Never covering this sport have I ever seen 2 games of, oh, and now here comes everybody. And this isn't about a sports story. No. This is about supporting a dad and his son and all they represent as something that's totally different than the sport they've just taken over in 2 games. The phenomenon of this is bigger than the sports story. And now all of television is descending upon a program that has not mattered for 30 years based on 2 games of the phenomenon. Do you know how much winning and excellence you have to produce for the phenomenon to be on your sideline? It's never in 2 games. Just never in my lifetime covering sports is it in 2 games. You have to work for years in order for Snoop Dogg to say, I want to be a part of the USC program. In order for Luther Campbell to say, I want to be a part of the University of Miami program. And it takes years of, we kick your ass, we tell you we're going to kick your ass, and then we remind you that we just kicked your ass. It doesn't happen in 2 games. And it's here. And you're saying maybe it goes away. Maybe it does. But I don't think that a renegade program that's supported by the Outlaws, man, do you remember when in the music videos in the 90s, when NWA is wearing the sports paraphernalia because they want to represent a certain something? I've never seen 2 games of this program hasn't mattered for 30 years. And now you're telling me that everyone is going because they just want to profit off it? They just want to profit off of what is near Deion Sanders?
I think one of the most impressive things about this is, one, Colorado has blown out all of our expectations just 2 games in. But what Colorado and Deion have done so well is capitalizing on the Prime brand while he was there. Their university admissions commercial has Prime in it all over. Their social media following skyrocketed. Like, they have made it cool to be a Colorado fan.
I want to go back to something that we asked before and put it up as a poll question. Who is the biggest star in the world? Is it Bad Bunny? Is it Taylor Swift? Is it Beyonce? Is it Messi?
That's the one, because you're out here saying, I haven't seen it. It took 2 games where everyone wants to be associated with it. Saw it 2 months ago.
In college, I've never seen it. Forgive me. I don't mean that I haven't seen it professionally. I mean, I've never seen it in a college atmosphere where I've watched when these programs represent a renegade style that people want to wear the jackets because it represents not Colorado winning football, but it represents what Deion represents to people.
Is any part of this the microwave? The where we are as a society, that things happen fast? Kind of not to Billy's point, but in the point that everything is so ephemeral and it happens quick and it happens fast, and you want to be there first in a way that if it happened 20 years ago, it wouldn't be after 2 games. Maybe it'd be after a season.
Cristiano Ronaldo has 3 times the social media followers as Taylor Swift.
It's also the biggest story in college sports right now, and not to rain on the parade, because that's not what I'm trying to do. There's no good games this week. You know what I mean? So they're gonna go cover a game. So why don't we do this? And then you're headed after that into Oregon and USC, and then things feel differently if the team's potentially 3-2. You know? So this is a time where it's well, where do we want to go? Let's do it now.
What they're doing isn't overly complicated. They're looking at the ratings. And they're feeding the machine, and the machine will only get bigger the more they feed it, because they see an opportunity with ratings. They see something tried and true. That's why First Take is going there. They're not going there because it's exciting. That may be the root of all this. They're going there because it puts up numbers.
Yeah, and I like to argue it hasn't been just 2 games. People have been rooting against Deion since he's been at Jackson State. Yeah. This story started back then. This is just the next chapter of that story. So it seems like 2 games, but this story is the one. This is Deion. This is prime time himself. This is, can he do it? You root for Mayweather to lose. People are rooting for Deion to lose, so they pulling up.
Well, you say 2 years, and you say that Travis Kelce is risking people hating him. It ain't 2 years with Deion. It's 30. It's not 2. People have been rooting against everything Deion Sanders, but that's what rock and roll was. That's what hip hop is.
Rooting for him too, though.
But that's what it is what I'm saying. When you wear the Raiders jacket as NWA, you're signaling to everybody, yeah, we know you hate us. And that's part of it. And we draw numbers. And look, we're in a spot where First Take needs us now. You say there are no interesting games. Colorado hasn't played one of those in 30 years. And what? No one's ever come to be around it. First Take, Fox, Game Day, they need Deion. 2 games in, it's not that Deion needs them. He's fine. He doesn't need them. They don't need to show up this weekend. He does not need them this weekend. They need him. After 2, what are you talking about? That the entertainment industry that we work in, you're telling me there are no good games, and I'm looking at you, since when has Colorado played one of those?
I think something that Colorado's done well is they've taken this media just hype for what that team is and what Deion is, and they're embracing it. They gave out 800 media credentials last week. They are welcoming all the praise, and they're using it to amplify their brand.
It's nuts. This isn't I don't know how much this changes. Do you realize the coaching salaries have gone totally insane? Totally insane for results that aren't this. Scott Frost got hired because he was going to bring something like this from UCF to Nebraska. What is this worth when it's not about football, it's not about winning, it's not about program building? The currency of the day is, can you get attention and are you cool? Polarizing doesn't matter. What does he care about? Who's more uniquely equipped to deal with polarizing than someone who's done it for 30 years? Like, what is this worth when he's paid for his salary, doubled it, tripled it, quadrupled it, the life of his contract, it's already been paid for by 800 media credentials. Who can buy that, and what does it cost? What does it cost to buy that if right now your Nebraska or any of these tradition-rich programs that believe college football was supposed to belong to them, what is it worth in the modern age when you get a pioneer who doesn't mind polarization, who is welcoming the entire media to the circus because he's a content machine and he's been a content machine for 30 years, and we all realize together, oh, holy Deion's son can play. Those throws are crazy. Crazy accurate. Question Texas Christian all you want. Question Nebraska all you want. But none of us dispute, oh, really? He's going to play back there like Manziel, and he's going to loop around, and also he can throw the ball 40 yards, and, ooh, his receiver should have caught that one because it was on the money. It's not just that, it's obvious that Deion's kid can play.
Imagine if he had no line.
Well, give him time. Unfortunately, he won't be there by the time that time is, because he's going to. You don't think Deion Sanders has realized already that he's underpaid?
No, when you were saying, like, what is the value, what is that going to be worth, my first thought was more than Colorado can afford. I think he'll be gone in 2 years to an SEC school that can pay him so much money.
Oh, but he's more valuable in college than he is in the pros, because in college there's not a salary cap, and he can bring 50 of his soldiers. He can't do that.
His luggage, not his soldiers. And it's Louis.
You mentioned that.
Texas A&M going to give him a lot of money.
Dan, it's a big day. After a long wait, lots of votes from our beloved audience. We love you guys so much. We're revealing at this moment, in mere seconds, the winners of the Suey Award.
No. Finally?
2023?
Finally.
After weeks of voting.
22, 23, technically, I mean.
Any,
After weeks, Dan.
Any surprises? Anything?
Oh.
Wow. A lot of surprises.
I'm not going to
Some
spoil
are
it.
good. I'm going to be surprised listening to them because I haven't yet.
Stay tuned. I've only seen the first couple, so I don't know what's coming, and I'm very nervous for myself.
It was a loaded year. I'm most interested in finding out who's going to win Best Musical Performance, because we had really terrible singing and really talented musical performances.
Please be Frank Sinatra to the windows, to
I
the walls.
think it's going to be a bad version of singing. Let's see what we've got. I've been waiting for this. I can't believe it took so long.
And now the winners of the 2023 Suey Awards. Best Dismissal. The Sodfather George Toma dismisses Eddie Mangan, Troy Vincent, and Roger Goodell for blaming him for messing up the Super Bowl grass.
Yes, Mr. Mangan, you lied. You blamed the ryegrass for the cause of that disaster. Bull.
Whoa!
I'm mad about it, but apologize to the people that put you there and helped you. And kick yourself in the ass for not listening to somebody like
We've graduated
Travis
from Fannie.
Hogan. And Troy, you better start working. Next year, if you don't do anything right, there's the door, and don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out.
Best back in my day. Wallets. Currently, the old trusted friend I have under my left cheek is a black Guess brand trifold I've had since, I think, the late 80s. As an experiment, I checked the contents of my wallet to find a lone $20 bill, 3 credit cards, a debit card, a license, registration, and a AAA card. Cards from Home Depot, Duffy's, Panera Bread, and Barnes & Noble. A Marriott Rewards card valid through February 2015. Also, a medical insurance card, 3 business cards I never hand out, a voter registration card they never ask for anymore, and 4 photos, including my wife from around when we got married in the early 80s. Every self-respecting wallet should have a hidden gem, an artifact. Mine, my original birth certificate from the mid-50s with a childish signature that hasn't looked like mine since I was 12. The cashless tap and pay generation with their sleek and slim card cases and their photos stored in phones are slow murdering the iconic wallet. Its cherished place gone from the derriere to the dumpster. Bring back the billfold. Start using cash again. Store credit cards you never use. Have photos developed at the drugstore. Save the wallet. I'm Greg Cody, and that's how it was back in my day.
Best laugh.
Jessica Smetana.
Best revelation. Mike Shore reveals what Donald Trump got him as a wedding gift.
This is amazing. What did Donald Trump get us for a wedding gift? And we pull it out, and I'll show it to you. It's this vase.
Wow. But wait, there's more.
I believe it is the ugliest object I've ever seen. It's certainly the ugliest object I own. So I'm like, what is the story here? I formulate a theory. The theory that I formulate is that it is overflow decoration from one of his casinos. Like, he bought 5,000 identical $12 vases to go into like the Atlantic City casino, and I turn it around and look at the back. There's nothing on the back. So clearly it's designed to just face out like this, and he's so cheap that they didn't even, he was like, no, don't paint the back. The back's gonna face the wall of the casino.
Best limited fake. Chris Cody and Amin El Hassan. Limited fake Jennifer Coolidge, Alex Jones, and Stephen A. Smith.
I'm here. They got hooked up on a blind date.
Yeah.
Oh, is it Stifler's mom? Hell yeah, man.
and you're so...
And Jennifer Coolidge is walking in late.
I'm so tired of that character. It's not all I am.
No, but come on, everyone knows you for it. Great.
Hello, my name is Steven. I'll be your server tonight. Can I start you off with some appetizers or perhaps some lovely beverages?
I'd like an apple martini.
And for the gentleman?
I'd like a Bloody Mary.
You mean to tell me you're going to drink a Bloody Mary at 7 p.m.? That's disgusting. It's despicable. I can't believe that you would go out on a date with this lovely woman and drinking that.
Best story. Bert Kreischer, Will Smith story.
The time I thought Will Smith wanted to have sex with me, it's just me getting in over my head.
Yeah.
Go on.
Will Smith's people discover me, and they're like, hey, man, we want to do a television deal. We think Will would like you, but you got to meet him. So I was like, okay. So they send me up to this recording factory, like the studio, and I'm like, I'm going to get this guy to love me. He sits down. I'm a whirlwind of personality. Dude, I love hip-hop. I love Jada. I love you. I love black people. You're black. I love I'm like hammering this guy. We talk for 35 minutes, and he just looks at me and goes, I like you. I go, I like you. He goes, what are you doing tonight? And I go, I don't know. And he goes, let's go to the movies. I go, cool. And then we leave. So I call my dad. My dad's a regular dude. He goes, how did it go? I go, it went great. He goes, tell me. I said, we're going to the movies. My dad's like, on a date? I go, no, I don't know. He goes, who else? I go, just me and him. And he goes, oh, buddy. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry this is happening to you.
Did you go to the movie afraid that you were going to have to ward off his advances?
I showed up. It wasn't even a movie theater. It was at Planet Hollywood, which is even weirder. So I'm sitting in the waiting room. Dude, 6'7", black guy comes in, sticks his head, and he goes, yo, you Bert? I go, yeah. And he goes, I'm Charlie Mack. I was like, oh, I'm going to have sex with this guy, too. Oh, my God, this is going to be a long night. I go downstairs. There's a folding room, the size of a hotel room, a room of folding curtains all around it, and there's 10 black dudes in there. And I'm like, oh, my God, this is going to be a long night. I got these 10 black guys. I got Charlie Mack. I got Will Smith. I'm sure he's bringing Jazzy Jeff. That's 13 dudes. So I just sat there, and then Will walked in with Jazzy Jeff. I swear to God. Swear to God. He's like, yo, guys, this is the guy I was telling you about. And they all look at me like, oh, okay. And they start walking towards me. I'm like, all right, here we go. It's game time. and then the curtains open up behind me, and there's a private movie theater. and Will goes, grab us 2 seats. Me, you, and Jazzy will sit next to each other, and I'll get a shrimp. What do you want to drink? And we had Long Island iced teas, and we watched American Pie. And then at the end of the movie, it's a great movie. Obviously, it's a great movie. At the end of the movie, the lights come on, and he goes, so what'd you think? I said, it's a great movie. And he goes, no, about the room. I go, it's very nice. And he goes, no, about the guys in the room. I go, the guys in the room? He's like, yeah, what did you think? And I was like, I don't know. They're black? And he goes, hey, man, you said you were a hip-hop fan. That's Kool Moe Dee. That's Biz Markie. That's Big Daddy Kane. And he walked, and I was like, I could have had sex with Biz Markie.
Best musical performance. Yeti Blanc, We're All Gonna Die.
Die. We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die. The sky seems to be falling, and we're all wondering why. Let's turn on the news and find out how we're gonna die. There ain't no sense in stalling, no reason not to cry. Let's turn on the news and find out how we're gonna die. Die. We're all gonna die.
Worst mistake. Stugotz mistakes Jake Owen for Aaron Rodgers.
Stugotz didn't talk to Aaron Rodgers. Nope. Stugotz thought country music superstar Jake Owen was Aaron Rodgers. They had a 20-minute conversation.
Identical twins. I mean, Jesus.
Now the hey start kind of makes a little bit more sense. Credit to Jake Owen.
Yep.
Because he went with it.
Listen, I will never have the relationship with Aaron Rodgers that I have with the guy that I thought was Aaron Rodgers.
So the way that
I mean, that is the greatest conversation I've ever had with my quarterback. Mike, I've been thinking about this, and I've been thinking, like, just going through the details in the conversation, the many different ways I must have creeped out Jake Owen. And, like, it's kept me up most of the night.
Most uncomfortable moment. Dan Le Batard asks Vince Wilfork about his happy marriage.
I have always enjoyed the way that you talk about your wife and your relationship, so I will ask you now, how romantic is Vince Wilfork?
Vince Wilfork is very romantic. I mean, you can't see that.
You are very comfortable talking about how you met your wife, how much you love her, how important she is to you, and that's the reason that I asked the question. I've always admired that about you, that you have no problems whatsoever professing your love.
Well, the thing is, I got a new wife now. You know, me and Bianca didn't make it, so I moved on. We moved on. It was for the better for both of us.
Things just got a little awkward there. So let me be the first on this show to congratulate you on the new wife, Vince. Congratulations on feeling whole, feeling complete. You know, let's talk tailgating. Yeah.
Don't feel awkward, buddy. You know,
Dan, no, I don't.
Oh, it's too late for that. It's much too late for that, Vince. I appreciate you soothing me in this regard, but I already feel terribly awkward. And then my teammate comes to my defense with not a question, but just a healthy congratulations and the further pointing out of that awkwardness, because he's always good for me in those spots. I'm also thinking of divorce, Vince, after many, many years, 18 years, with a partner who does things like that to you. Me and Bianca didn't make it, like if they'd gone down in an airplane crash.
Upset of the year, Dan. I know the Aaron Rodgers mistake was bad, but Stouffer's stovetop P word.
Yeah.
I will never forget for the rest of my life.
Thank you. I saw you laughing. I mean, is it, I don't know if I can read your mind, but is it because Greg Cody's Back in My Day sounded somehow older than the Sod Father?
No. I was laughing because that's the day I remembered he said he had his birth certificate in his wallet. And I said, Greg, there's no chance you have your birth certificate that you signed. You didn't sign it as an infant. Like, that's not possible. Turns out it was a Social Security card.
Yeah, he got it wrong, but he wins a Suey nonetheless. Congratulations.
He's got to get on that if he wants that to be a robust category next go round.
Yeah,
it's got like 2 nominees this year.
But congratulations to all our winners.
Jessica,
Jessica, big laugh. A big victory for you.
Oh, you know what that song sounds? Why do I always, anytime I play 20s music or anybody plays 20 music, you have to be like, ho, ho, ho. You know what that means? Chris Cody does this often too. It means we're about to play Against the Spread. I can see the joy wash over Dan's face. And I know what you're thinking. Why do I have to wait so long for it to get to me every time we play Against the Spread? Well, you're in luck, Dan, because today I'm giving you a gift. Thanks to our good friends over at DraftKings Sportsbook who are bringing you Against the Spread. I want you to use code Dan when you sign up on the app, and you get a limited time offer for new customers. Dan, we begin with you.
It doesn't feel like you've got quite a lot of buy-in from the singers and your performing song. It seems like there's a little bit of indifference there. Can I just take the A's to lose by more than 1 run or the Royals to lose by more than 1 run?
When?
Today.
Well, let me see if they
Do
play.
they play?
Hang on. You sound... You want to criticize other people's
Sounds
endeavor.
like you're not really bought in here.
I don't want to do this.
Oh.
Was I unclear about this at any point? That
Why
I
don't you want to do this?
Crystal.
Yeah, okay, well, guess what? If you're not performing well, you don't get the prize.
I don't want the prize. I don't.
You
even
don't know what the prize is.
You want the
yet.
prize, Dan.
You might want it.
that
You might want the prize.
You may want the prize.
The prize could be $1 million.
Yeah.
It could also not be.
It's not going to be $1 million.
It could be. You don't know.
Could be.
I
So
do know it's not $1 million.
Well, what's the prize? You tell us then.
Not $1 million. That's what I know.
What
about
if it's
the prize.
2?
the Houston Astros are playing the Oakland A's today, and you are going Houston Astros -1.5 against the spread. Amin, you're up.
I'm going to go to the Women's National Basketball Association.
What just happened back there?
My mind was blown on Radio Row. I can't believe you bought the WNBA finally.
Yeah, and I'm going Liberty -9 hosting the Mystics against the spread.
Thank you so much for the Vine, Amin. I'm going to be taking the Alabama Crimson Tide this weekend against USF. That game is in Tampa, and I think the Crimson Tide bounced back after being yelled at by Nick Saban all week. I'm going Crimson Tide against the spread. Brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Jess, you're up next.
I'm going to college football for the backyard brawl this weekend. Pitt and West Virginia, one of the greatest rivalries in sports, Dan. Both teams not looking so hot this year, but I'm picking West Virginia at home. Crazy home atmosphere in Morgantown. And that's my pick against
the spread.
Good enthusiasm, Jess.
Billy?
Thank you.
I'm going to go with the Colts -1 over the Texans this week, Dan. I feel like I saw something there. Richardson, he's going up against Stroud. We're going to figure out who is a better pick. I'm all in on this game, as you can tell.
You soundboard.
Against the spread.
We're going to find out a lot of things. Perhaps Billy will find out their first names.
Anthony, CJ.
There we go.
I am going with the Chicago Sky versus the Las Vegas Aces.
Are you crazy?
Asia Wilson goes against, what you say?
Are you crazy?
Am I crazy?
Who are
I
you
don't think
picking?
you. Wait till I get to that segment of my pick.
You said you were going with the Chicago Sky.
I'm going with the game Chicago versus Las Vegas.
Okay.
I love Courtney Williams. That's my sister. And I love Marina Mabry. Salute to the Irish.
A lot of
Do love
qualifiers.
Marina Mabry.
16.5 points. Yeah, right. The Chicago Sky will cover that against the spread.
Lucy?
I'm going college football. Shocker. I'm taking LSU minus 9.5 at Mississippi State. Mississippi State had to get overtime to beat Arizona last week. LSU, they might be a little off, but they're still very talented. So I'm going LSU
against the spread. Really strong, you guys. I love that segment. Dan, back to you.
Staying with some football stuff, I saw that Matthew Stafford has agreed to do the Netflix special quarterbacks. I saw that Peyton Manning, I've told you before that his content business is now reputed to be worth $400 million, more than he made during his playing career, because he gets involved with projects like this. And he said that he was having trouble finding any quarterbacks to say yes anymore because of the unusual circumstances of what I'm about to explain in the streaming game and in the quarterback game. I don't know if Hard Knocks is going to survive what's happening at HBO. I would assume that football is so strong that nothing can topple that. But what is happening at HBO is a clinical crushing of accounting to get rid of a lot of special things, a lot of very good programming. And Hard Knocks has been the edited, sanitized, approved by the NFL version of the illusion of access. It's access more than we usually get to those military compounds, and we want and crave any kind of information about football that feels like access. And I think Netflix gave us something that felt even more like access than that, because you're in the personal life of Mahomes and Mariota and Kirk Cousins, but not surprisingly, Peyton now says, I'm having trouble finding anybody who wants to let us into their life like that, because quarterbacks generally don't want that kind of attention. They're going with Stafford, who's 35. You don't want the headlines, the distractions. But I wonder if something's going to change here with the young quarterbacks and everything we've been talking about with Deion and attention being currency. Are the young quarterbacks, are there going to be anybody who says, like, yes, this is absolutely great for me. I welcome the pressure of more attention. Come get into my life, and we will create something and edit it and work with Peyton Manning, who knows how to protect quarterback images. Like, everyone's forgotten that Peyton Manning's wife allegedly needed whatever the shipments were that were being sent to their home in order to cure the body.
Well, someone went at me earlier for mentioning LeBron, so I've got no thought on that.
Is that why people aren't doing quarterback this year?
I don't know why people aren't wanting to do this more. Get into business with Peyton Manning to improve your brand, to change what's happening at the quarterback position where you have to hide in plain sight because you don't want people to see actually too much of your life.
The thing that I would imagine, Dan, is that at some point, it won't be because they don't want to let people in. It's because of the same reason a lot of these documentaries and things are having problems getting off the ground, because the subjects want to control it. Why would I give Peyton Manning the rights to my life when I can do it myself? A lesser-known quarterback, maybe, but these new stars that are coming in, I imagine they're going to be like, I don't want to do his show. I want to do my own show.
Is Peyton doing a good job and a service for his show by telling everyone no one wants to do it, so we're settling for these quarterbacks? Because I feel like if that's the thing, it's like, well, then why would I want to watch this if everyone you asked said no and we're dealing with Matthew Stafford? Which, by the way, may have found a cheat code to now be friends with all of his young teammates that he couldn't connect with earlier, right? Because now he's like, hey, guess what, gang? I have a TV show on Netflix, and if you perform well, maybe you'll be on the floor as lava next season.
If everyone needs sports content, if Tom Brady is worth $375 million for his broadcasting, and Peyton Manning's company is worth $400 million, and LeBron James is building a media empire in content, how is the sports content that you're going to get about to change when all the streaming services want more sports, but also we are, if you're paying any attention beyond the strike, the industry of Hollywood is shaking. Wall Street and everything that happened to journalism is now happening to Hollywood, where they're fighting over dollars in a way that's obviously making it very hard for anyone to sell movies. Anyone. The best of people that you're used to getting stuff from right now can't work. Some of them under principle, some of them because they're fighting for something, but some of them because nobody's buying anything. Like, everyone needs sports content, but nobody's buying anything. And you know what doesn't need writers? Reality shows that Peyton Manning is making because he gets a couple of his quarterback friends to say, yeah, I trust Peyton. He's not going to screw me. I'll give him access to my life, because he was getting a lot of no's, but now he has Stafford. And you cannot deny that everyone listening to this is interested. Yes, please give me more access that I don't presently have, because I get what is sanitized from the networks that serves the networks. I get what's commercially sanitized, approved by the NFL on HBO, which, I mean, hugely popular the way they do all of that. But all of that is approved so that the NFL, you will never see anything on Hard Knocks that the NFL does not want you to see. And now they've given over a little bit, and this is quite the torch to pass. It really is. Peyton Manning is such a beloved figure as the old guard of quarterbacking face and voice in this league for so damn long, 20 years, 15 years of dominating the position and dominating the commercial success that comes with the position as a face of the league. The idea that he can now capitalize on that by just making content with and around his friends, by just picking up the phone a couple of times and making a couple of calls. Hey, can you do this for me? We'll figure it out. I'll protect you. Hey, Matt, whatever your concerns are, I will protect you on this. It's a pretty cool business opportunity for Peyton Manning.
Yeah, he gets the corner of the market on, somewhere where people are naturally kind of avoidant. They don't want to talk to media people. They don't want to talk to NFL films or whatever, but they'll trust someone who is, quote, one of us, right?
I would assume so, even though the content that he is making so far, he's new to the content business. He's got to learn a million different things. You're basically, what you're trusting there isn't Peyton Manning's company. Like, you're hoping his company is going to make something that you're proud of. But what you're trusting there is that Peyton Manning wouldn't do something to a quarterback that he would not want done to himself, as someone who avoided controversy until his wife got mailed something that appeared to be HGH.
Switching the Jags. Yeah, Chiefs 0-2 against the